The NBA is about to experience one of the biggest shifts it has ever seen. Luka Doncic landing in Los Angeles wasn't just a blockbuster trade, it flipped the entire league on its head. Because recently, Giannis Antetokounmpo said this.
I told my agent, get me to Luka, no excuses.
Yeah, you heard that right. Giannis and his agent are actively working behind the scenes to make sure Giannis lands with the Lakers alongside Luka Doncic. Oh, and this is not another NBA rumor, because today I will be showing you exactly how Giannis and his team plan to make it happen. And once you connect these dots, there's no way you'll look at this trade window the same again. If you think the possibility of this trade happening is just another fan pipe dream, you haven't been paying attention. I mean, trading stars is normal, players talking about their futures is normal. But a two-time MVP and NBA champion openly entertaining the idea of leaving the only franchise he's ever known? Well, that's news. So let's unpack exactly how this moved from being an internet fantasy to a legitimate NBA front office conversation. First off, Luka Doncic getting traded to the Lakers was one of the wildest moves we've seen in years. It didn't just put him in a Lakers uniform, it rewrote the entire league's timeline. Instead of being a rival MVP contender in Dallas, he's now a franchise cornerstone in Lakers. And that matters so much for Giannis because timing is everything in the NBA. When one superstar suddenly becomes available and interested, right after another superstar just landed, especially in a city with the global reach of Los Angeles, people start connecting the dots. Now here's where it gets interesting, because apart from wanting to play on the same team as Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo has been in active conversations for a while about his future with the Bucks. ESPN's Shams Charania has reported that Giannis and his agent have been sitting down with the Bucks front office to talk about whether he really wants to stay long-term or explore other fits around the league.
Malika, sources tell me that Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent Alex Saratas have started open conversations that are active right now with the Milwaukee Bucks.
They haven't made a decision yet, but the fact that these discussions are happening is huge. This is the first time in his entire career that the Greek freak has publicly entertained anything other than him being a Buck for life. And like I said before, if you think this started this season, think again. Different outlets have reported that Giannis once eyed different big market spots back around 2020, and Miami and the Dallas Mavericks were reportedly on his radar before he stayed in Milwaukee and ended up winning a title. But think about the timing for a second. Luka Doncic was already the face of the Mavericks at that time. He was already an MVP-level player, already running the offense, already being talked about as the next generational superstar. So when Giannis was weighing Dallas as a serious option, he was not looking at a blank slate. He was looking directly at a future that involved Luka, and that didn't disappear, it just went quiet after that. Now with all that history and the Lakers in play, it's obvious he's been chasing the idea of playing with Luka for a while. Yeah, sure, I know how awkward it feels to even discuss Giannis being available. I mean, he built the Bucks into a contender. He won a title there. So traditionally, his loyalty has been unquestioned. But loyalty only gets you so far when the league keeps moving around you. The Bucks are slipping. His contract gives him flexibility. And for the first time, Giannis is clearly reassessing what he actually wants the rest of his career to look like. And that's where this really starts to get interesting. Because once you stop looking at this like a trade machine problem and start looking at it like actual humans making decisions, you realize Giannis chasing Luka is not random at all. This has been building for years, and it has been happening right in front of everyone. Giannis has always talked about Luka differently. Every time Luka's name comes up, Giannis sounds genuinely impressed and sometimes excited even. Over the years, especially during All-Star weekends, you could see it. The way Giannis interacts with Luka, jokes with him, and respects him. It never felt forced. It felt like mutual understanding.
Luka! Magic, I want magic now. Now this is the time. Come on. I want it.
Giannis has publicly praised Luka's intelligence more than once.
He's an incredible player, incredible talent. Arguably, probably one of the most talented players I've ever seen in my lifetime. It's unbelievable what he can do for himself and his team.
He has also talked about how Luka sees plays before they happen, how he controls the game without needing to be the fastest or strongest guy on the floor. And that matters coming from Giannis because this is someone who knows exactly what it means to carry an entire franchise on your back every night. So when Giannis compliments Luka, it comes from recognition, not hype. And this isn't just an NBA media thing. European outlets have been grouping Giannis and Luka together for years as the faces of European basketball. Not competitors, but the frontrunners. Two different styles, two different paths, but the same weight. When they talk about the future of the league going global, Giannis and Luka are always mentioned in the same breath. And that matters, because Giannis clearly sees himself as part of that bigger picture. Giannis has even said before that he wants European players to succeed in the biggest markets, under the brightest lights.
I want all the Europeans to go to all the big markets, to see something incredible. This is what I want. This is my dream.
He has talked about wanting them to be taken seriously as the faces of the league, not just great players who happen to be international. Luka fits that vision perfectly because they both have the same background pressure, same expectations, and the same understanding of what it means to represent more than just yourself every time you step on the court. And here's the part people really underestimate. The desire to play together has been mutual because Luka himself has reportedly asked internally about the possibility of the Lakers trading for Giannis.
Luka Doncic asked the Lakers to try and acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo. I can tell you that the Lakers inquired and Luka Doncic himself inquired, trying to see if the Lakers could work out a deal with the Milwaukee Bucks via Fox News' Lou Canellis.
Now, with Luka in Los Angeles and Giannis at a crossroads, everything that used to feel like a distant possibility has suddenly become so possible. And that's exactly why we need to revisit what Giannis said about wanting Luka in the Lakers and all the Europeans to go to all the big markets. At first glance, it sounds playful, almost casual, like Giannis was just dreaming out loud. But the timing completely changes the context. Because when he said this, Luka was already in Los Angeles. What makes this even more interesting is how different people treat it. The American media mostly framed it as just another soundbite or something fun from a superstar who's allowed to joke around. But in Europe, outlets took it seriously. They framed it as Giannis laying out a vision, a statement about European players stepping into the league's biggest stages, about influence, visibility, and legacy. It's not just about Luka, it's about a broader idea of European stars taking control in a league that hasn't always given them the spotlight they deserve. But what sounded like a lighthearted comment in the past now looks like an intention-meeting opportunity. Because now we're not just talking about rumors or fan speculation. We're talking about the potential formation of something that could shake the entire league. And when I say the entire league, you have to understand that there's some context behind it. Luka landing in Los Angeles didn't just fill a hole on the roster, it rewrote the Lakers' identity. For years, LeBron James was the gravitational center. He was the guy who drew stars, dictated timelines, and made the Lakers one of the most talked about teams in the world. But LeBron is on his way out now, and the league knows it. So Luka didn't just step into a uniform, he stepped into that vacuum. Everyone and everything now orbits around him, and the Lakers went from being a team in transition to suddenly one of the most interesting teams in the NBA. But here's why that matters for Giannis. First off, Luka is young. Like really young for a superstar with that kind of game. He's also crazy skilled and adaptable. He's not going to force someone else to adjust to him, and he can adjust in any situation and adapt. And that's huge for Giannis because Giannis isn't looking to babysit anyone or be the only star carrying a team. He wants a teammate who actually complements him, and Luka checks all those boxes. And let's be honest, the Lakers didn't just get a star, they got a whole decade. Most teams would kill to have a young generational talent like Luka locked in for years, with the resources to build around him. For Giannis, that's like a green light flashing, because this is a place where he can land and still have a shot at building something insane with a teammate that he actually respects. Also, the way Luka attracts talent is completely different from LeBron. LeBron pulled stars with power and narrative, but Luka pulls stars through skill, fit, and chemistry. He's the type of player where someone like Giannis thinks, yeah, I can make this work, I can thrive here. That's the big difference. This isn't a team being built around one ego. It's a team being built around how the game actually works on the court. So yeah, the Lakers post-LeBron could have been scary and uncertain, but Luka stepping in changed the whole game. He made the Lakers a real destination for someone like Giannis, someone who's chasing more than a paycheck or a ring, and if you're watching closely, that's exactly what's happening. The Lakers now aren't just rebuilding, they're suddenly the most dangerous, most attractive team in the league, and it's all because Luka is there. And that's the thing. Luka being in Los Angeles doesn't just make the Lakers attractive, it makes Milwaukee start to feel smaller by comparison. Think about it. Giannis has built this incredible career in Milwaukee, He's got a title, MVPs, all that. But even at his peak, the Bucks keep hitting walls. First, let's talk about the playoffs. I mean, even at his MVP peak, Giannis has hit the ceiling in Milwaukee. Look at the last few seasons. In 2021, they finally broke through and won the title. Awesome, right? But in 2022, they got bounced in the second round by the Celtics, despite Giannis putting up a monster 34.5 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists per game average in the series. And in 2023, they ran into the Bucks' biggest kryptonite, the Celtics again. And this time, it was a sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals. Teams have learned how to slow him down. Giannis is still dominant, but even he knows the limitations. Winning a title once was monumental, but it didn't unlock the repeatability he's chasing. And let's be real, the guys around him aren't exactly championship-ready pieces. Unlike the 2021 title squad that had Chris Middleton and Holiday, the Bucks have cobbled together a group that plays hard but doesn't relieve enough pressure. Miles Turner is a solid big man who can protect the rim and hit threes, and Kyle Kuzma can score. But beyond that, you've got guys like Cole Anthony and Gary Trent Jr., who are nice complementary pieces at best, not players built to contend for championships year after year. Now throw the salary cap limitations into the mix and it gets even tighter. The Bucks are well above the salary cap and even the luxury tax thresholds, meaning they're constrained in how they can reshape the roster without giving up significant assets. They don't have the space to bring in another all-star without sending out massive money or picks, and their current commitments to Turner, Kuzma, Portis, and a bunch of mid-tier contracts make that almost impossible. And the scoreboards don't lie. Last season, the Bucks had a plus 3.1 net rating with Giannis on the floor, meaning they outscored teams by about 3 points per 100 possessions when he was out there. But without him, they slipped to roughly minus 0.3. That swing shows how much their success literally depends on him being on the court. And if you look at the early numbers for this season, it's even clearer. With Giannis playing, they've had a positive net rating of nearly plus 4.5, but when he's off the floor, they drop into the red, around minus 1.2. So in plain terms, when Giannis is in, Milwaukee has a chance. When he's off, they struggle, whether that's on offense, defense, or just keeping games close. And that kind of dependency doesn't scream built for multiple titles. It screams one superstar carrying the load. And then there's the part of losing key players in big moments. Lillard's injury and absence when he was with the Bucks earlier this year exposed their weaknesses, even with Giannis playing at MVP numbers. The Bucks just don't have the kind of elite defenders or top-tier scorers around Giannis that you usually see on championship teams. Opponents know he's going to get his points, so they collapse on him in the paint, clog the mid-range, and pressure the perimeter. And without another star who can create shots or knock down threes consistently, the offense starts to feel predictable, and that makes it a lot harder to win deep in the playoffs. Put all that together, and you realize that Milwaukee has served its purpose, which is getting him a title once, but not as the environment most likely to deliver multiple championships or the kind of dynamic partnership Giannis might crave with someone like Luka. That's exactly why the Lakers, with Luka already in place and the potential for something truly generational, look so attractive right now. But here's the thing. What would it actually look like when these two are playing together? Because talking trades is one thing, but imagining Giannis and Luka running a team together? That's a whole different level. I mean, Giannis is already a downhill monster. He drives like a freight train, grabs boards, switches onto wings, protects the rim, and basically does everything on both ends. But even he can hit walls in the half court. Teams know what's coming, so they pack the paint, funnel him toward help defenders, and force him into contested mid-range shots that aren't efficient. That's where Luka comes in. Luka is one of the best half-court creators in the league. He sees defenses before they even fully set, reads help defenders, and can deliver the ball to Giannis in the perfect spot when he's rolling, cutting, or slipping. That kind of vision instantly turns pick and rolls into a nightmare for any defense. Giannis is already terrifying in those situations because of his size, speed, length, and finishing. But historically, Milwaukee hasn't had a point guard who could fully exploit that pick-and-roll potential. But Luka can. In clutch moments, Giannis can attack downhill while Luka spaces the floor, pulls defenders out, or creates lanes for him to exploit. And this isn't just me talking. Even Gilbert Arenas has also shown his support for a Giannis and Luka duo. On his podcast, he said that within a couple of years, Giannis and Luka could absolutely be a championship-winning team.
You put him and Luka. Within 2 to 3 years, they're winning the championship. He's averaged 30 points a game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists for the last 5 years.
Why? Well, right now, Giannis is basically carrying Milwaukee on both ends, scoring and defending. So Luka's elite scoring and playmaking would immediately take a huge chunk of that pressure off him. For context, Giannis is averaging 31.2 points and 11.5 rebounds per game, but his efficiency drops whenever defenses collapse on him. Luka would open everything up and make life so much easier for Giannis. Defensively, Luka doesn't need to be a lockdown guy because it actually works in this setup. Giannis handles paint protection, switches onto wings, and dominates transition defense. Luka just has to be a threat and pull defenders out. Modern NBA rules make this duo even crazier. Because now, spacing matters more, the game is faster, and refs call fouls tighter than ever. Luka thrives because he can control the floor and force defenses to move, and Giannis thrives downhill with the space Luka creates. Put them together, and you get what analysts are calling unfair math. The perfect mix of spacing, playmaking, and downhill dominance that defenses just can't stop. And look, pairing Giannis and Luka isn't just some wild fantasy. There's actually a blueprint for this. NBA history is packed with superstar duos that completely changed the league when the timing, fit, and roles clicked. Take Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, for example. Jordan was obviously the scoring machine, but Pippen's versatility defensively, offensively, and all around turned the Bulls into a dynasty. Then there's Shaq and Kobe in the Lakers. Shaq dominated inside, Kobe stretched the floor and handled the perimeter. Together, they created spacing nightmares for every defense. But it wasn't all perfect. Kobe had to adjust his game, learn patience, and figure out timing alongside Shaq. Fast forward to LeBron and Wade in Miami. Both were ball dominant, both could score at will, yet to reach peak efficiency, they had to share usage, sacrifice touches, and trust one another in clutch moments. That super team changed the league's view on player-led moves, proving stars could actually make it work without a franchise forcing it. Go even further back to Magic and Kareem. One ran the show, the other finished it. Different ages, different styles, but perfectly aligned roles. That duo worked because everyone knew who did what, and they stayed together long enough for it to matter. That's why Giannis and Luka isn't some random idea. Luka fixes the half-court problem Giannis has dealt with for years. Giannis covers the defensive ground Luka doesn't need to. One bends the defense with playmaking and shot creation, the other breaks it with size, speed, and pressure at the rim. There's also a bigger layer here. Giannis and Luka wouldn't just be another star pairing, they'd be the most powerful European duo the league has ever seen. Two guys who came up outside the traditional American pipeline, now potentially leading the league together at the highest level. And once you zoom out even more, you realize the Lakers have quietly been preparing and getting ready for the exact moment the league shifted. Because after they moved on from LeBron, the Lakers didn't panic. They didn't try to fake another short window, they waited. Luka landing in Los Angeles wasn't just a star trade, it was the foundation. He's young, global, and already one of the most influential offensive players in basketball. Add Giannis to that, and suddenly Luka is the system, while Giannis becomes the accelerator. That's how dynasties actually form. Not overnight splashes, but timing. And Luka's arrival is what cracked the window open for Giannis in the first place. That's why analysts keep saying the Lakers are quietly positioned. You see mock trade packages everywhere now, not because fans are bored, but because the math exists. Salary rules matter. You can't just trade Giannis for vibes. Contracts have to line up, picks have to move, and that's where conversations like trading Austin Reeves for Giannis come up.
The Austin Reeves of it all is very interesting because if I'm Milwaukee, I demand him. I wouldn't do the trade without him. Do you want to do that? Right? I mean,
right.
That's a tough one, but that's who they would ask for because you're not going to get Luka, so you got to get the next best guy, and that's Austin.
This is not because the Lakers want to dump him, but because Milwaukee would want a real player back, not just future promises. Reeves makes sense financially and competitively for the Bucks, and everyone in the league knows it. And trades like this almost never happen cleanly. Third teams get involved all the time. A contract gets absorbed here, a pick rerouted there. That's how impossible deals suddenly become real.
Me having my draft pick doesn't work. I don't control the next three. I'm trading you Giannis Antetokounmpo. Your team's going to be awesome. Giving me your draft picks for the next couple of years aren't doing me any good. Do you have third team picks that might be valuable?
Add in timing, public comments, body language, and subtle signals, and you start to see how these things actually move. When global stars are involved, especially European ones, the attention multiplies and that pressure matters, whether the league wants to admit it or not. Which is exactly why the NBA gets nervous about this conversation. Giannis and Luka in Lakers wouldn't just be another good team. It would tilt the balance. The East will lose its most dominant force, the West will get even more loaded, and suddenly, every franchise has to respond. And there's a bigger shift happening underneath all of it. Giannis, Luka, and Jokic. European players aren't just participating anymore, they're defining the league. A Giannis-Luka pairing wouldn't be random. It would be the loudest symbol yet of where basketball power actually lives now. So that's the real tension here. Should Giannis stay loyal to the place that raised him, or should he chase the best version of his career? Is this unfair Lakers privilege, or just smart positioning in a league that never stops evolving? And if this really is where everything's been heading, then maybe the most uncomfortable question isn't whether it should happen. It's whether it was always inevitable.